Hi, I'm JJ Snyder, and you're watching Mingle Media TV's Red Carpet Report. Tonight we're at a charity event for Walking with Anthony, a nonprofit organization that supports people with spinal cord injuries.
You know, my wife and myself have been friends of the family for a long time, but I think the cause is really very special, and obviously Mickey has done an incredible job of making a difference, and she's taken it upon herself where a lot of people won't do things like that, you know, and she's given a lot of her time, her effort, her money to making this a cause that no one will forget.
Isn't that an incredible thing when something unfortunate happens, like what happened to her son, that someone can take that and turn it around for good?
Well, you know, there's a lot of crazy, innocent things happen that can turn really horrible for kids and impact their lives forever. And I think all those people want is a chance to maybe get back to live some kind of a normal life. And if you have people who care and people who give and people who are really going to make this a cause, make it a public thing instead of a hidden thing.
Interrupting you.
No, that's okay.
Can we talk about basketball?
Oh, sure, why not?
Okay. So, well, how do you feel about the Lakers right now?
Well, you know, I don't think there's a great team in the NBA. I think there's some really good teams, and you know, I think they had a really good win the other night against San Antonio. I think that will help them, minus Kobe Bryant. But if you look at their team, their margin for error is not as big as it used to be. But I think they're very capable. You know, they got a big team. They play with some passion. And if they can get in the right kind of game, and if they can score 100 points, they're going to be tough to beat any night in the playoff. But playoffs change, and I think matchups are really important. Who they get to play against is going to be of utmost importance, and obviously anyone can win this year.
Who should they be afraid of?
Well, I think two teams that I probably wouldn't want to play, and again, matchups. I think they match up great against San Antonio, okay? I think Memphis would be a tough matchup. They got a bunch of tough guys, and they compete and they create turnovers, and when you create turnovers, you're going to score easy points. Then also, I think Oklahoma City, but I think Oklahoma City might have a tough time with San Antonio, but there's a lot of good teams out here, and it wouldn't surprise me if we'd have a real surprise winner of the championship this year. It would not surprise me.
Wow, interesting. Can I get your thoughts on the idea that basketball players might ask to be compensated for being on the Olympic team?
Well, you know, I won a gold medal as an amateur, so it's big dollars. It really is, and I'm sure there's an awful lot of money made off of the Olympic project, and that's what it is, a project. They spend a lot of money. Players are going over there and competing for their countries, but they're also risking their careers. You know, one injury in a player's career is over with, and I would prefer not to see them get paid because almost every player on that team makes an enormous amount of money. But, you know, if it's a money-making proposition where the NBA and USA Basketball are making a lot of money, then it wouldn't bother me if they made it. But I would prefer they didn't get paid.
It's interesting because, you know, that's not the good old American opinion, is it? I mean, but what you're saying is, come on, let's look at what really is happening with this business. Is that?
Well, it is a business now.
Yeah.
At one time, it was really pretty much amateurs, and there were some people the track people would go in Europe and compete, and they would get paid. But they were still amateurs to some degree. And all the other people that participated in all the other sports, they weren't getting paid. But again, it was different then because we had truly amateurs. Every basketball player was, went to school for 4 years. These kids come into the NBA now at a very early age, and if they're good enough, they're going to be selected for those teams. But I also think it's an honor to represent your country, and it was probably the greatest thrill I had to win a gold medal as an amateur.
I bet. Well, what about that? What about taking the pros out of it and just having amateurs?
Well, you know what?
It's been done.
It has been done, but it wouldn't work anymore. And the reason it wouldn't work because in many of these other countries, the basketball is much improved. And if you look at the league, it has people from all over the world playing. Australia, even Iran, and some of our best players from Spain. France, players from all the kind of Balkan countries there. And we have players in the NBA that comprise almost all of at one time Europe, but now, you know, Australia, let's say Iran. Who would think there would ever be a professional player from Iran? But I think, you know, India is going to be a huge market one of these days. Will some kids be big enough and skilled enough to do that? You know, I heard somebody mention the other day that they were talking about 100 million people watch the Super Bowl. I think in India, for a big cricket match, they had 600 million people watching a cricket match. So it tells you how big that country is, and the NBA now is involved over there trying to promote basketball. So maybe one day we'll have someone from India.
Boy, yeah, the world it's really a global perspective these days.
Well, in almost every way, shape, or form it is.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, the global economy, but global sports. You know, one time no one ever thought we'd have soccer here, and particularly the quality of soccer has gotten so much better here in this country. So, you know, we're going to see things happen that no one ever dreamed of. I mean, who would ever thought we'd have someone from China playing the NBA, much less 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, that's been a sensation. Thank you so much for your thoughts.
You're all great.
It's great to connect with you tonight.